welcome back to Random Studios, the place where everything is random and ridiculous. And welcome back to Ryan's Rants, where I rant about the world's worst. Summer vacation is slowly coming to an end, and so is my happiness. That's because I'm going into grade 10, high school. And high school is coming up for a lot of kids my age, some of which are actually going into it for the very first time. And while there's a whole video I can make about things that I actually enjoy about high school, there are a lot of rotten things that need to be talked about. And if you were just in grade 9 like I was, or have already been in high school for quite a few years now, this should be pretty relatable to you. So let's get started. Going into grade 9 racked my nerve. No, it was a nerve-wracking experience. Probably because the name is high school. High school. It's essentially the same thing as saying, hey, now that you're in high school, you have to act mature and high class. You're an adult now, and you'll soon be going off to college. You will cry as your life tumbles by, and the lingering question of your purpose in life will eat at your brain until you get a job which makes you a lot of money, even though secretly it makes you very miserable. But enjoy high school while you can. That got dark for a sec. But seriously, why call it high school? Sounds too official and scary. Let me also mention something that scared me on the very first day. The fact that high schools are triple the size of elementary schools, plus the White House added on top. I don't know, but it's a little scary walking into a building that literally towers over you, knowing you're gonna spend your entire day in there. But once you go to your local store and get some guts, you'll be just fine walking in. The high school I go to is a uniformed school, which means everyone has to wear the exact same thing or else punishment ensues. Now I like the idea of uniform because you can't judge anybody on what they're wearing, essentially because you're wearing the exact same thing as them. But sometimes everyone wearing the exact same thing kind of gives off a, prison vibe. Now not all high schools have uniforms, but I know for sure all high schools have lockers. Your locker is the first thing you get in high school, specifically a combination for your lock and the number of where it's located. Now, my combination was very easy to remember, 20, 24, 12. But I've seen combinations under the lines of like 30, 22, 14 with no identifiable pattern at all. And you aren't allowed to bring your bag into class, so your locker is pretty much the only way to go. And I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't seen a locker that's big enough to fit everything in. Stuffing my bags and books into my locker was even more difficult than math class. Oh, and I mean stuff. You really have to jam those things in there because frankly, it just isn't big enough. And every time I pull my bag out of my locker, it's like giving birth. Once all your stuff is in your locker, you have to rush to first class. Now, classes in high school are a lot more difficult, and for some reason, they're a lot bigger. More students temporarily reside in the classrooms than ever before. Every subject in high school is more difficult than in elementary school, and nothing could prepare me for that. Homework is given every single night, and tests and quizzes are like a weekly thing. You want to know what else is a weekly thing? Stress. And tests and quizzes are the worst part of high school by far. Thinking outside the box, seeing questions that you've never seen in your life, studying hours upon hours every day. And all for 1% out of like 35. What the hell? All the tests add up to get an average out of 100, and you have to pass a certain number in order to pass the class. In elementary school, you had one class and you passed it no matter what. Why would high school change the novelty of that? As well, excuses won't be taken in. No. In elementary school, if you couldn't get your homework done, you could just tell the teacher that you were busy, even though you really weren't, and they would actually accept it. In high school, you gotta call home to your parents for verification. Yeah. You have to hand in every assignment on time, which is not only stressful, but then you have to deal with the worry of getting a bad mark. It's too much. And you have to handle that stress 4 times because you have 4 classes. Golly gee goody, it's the best thing in the world. Ugh. Having 4 classes in 4 different classrooms means you sometimes have to sprint down the hallway holding your books for dear life. Oh, sorry, that was an exaggeration. You do more than sprint. Crowds of people are in the hallways, people are tripping down the stairs, it's chaos. You feel like yelling for help, but then no one will help you. I honestly don't know why it can't just be one classroom. Having your students run around from class to class puts stress on them, which is not good for like a test or something. Now next is lunchtime, where you get to order food from the good old cafeteria. Now movies and TV illustrate cafeteria food as being disgusting and mysterious. The food at my school was actually pretty good, thankfully. I'll even admit delicious. Here's the only problem though. The lineups are so long, they reach Trump's office. I don't know if this is common with other high schools around the world, but cafeterias are always busy. High school, the place where you learn, grow, teach, mature, and starve. Because that's what I imagine the creators of high school to be like. Once lunch is finished, and sometimes it seems surprisingly fast, you rush to your last two classes, learn, and bam, the day is over. You can finally relax. I mean, for now. If you have homework when you get home. What do you think this is, elementary school? Now, there are many routes of transportation home, whether it be in a car with your parentals, in a boat, if your high school is by the water, or a school bus. I mean, I don't think a school bus color has changed in years. Like, why can't I get a teal school bus pull up? They're always yellow and boring, and that's a separate rant. Before I finish, let me list off some extra tidbits about high school that I don't like very much. Number uno, textbooks. They're bulky, they hurt my arm, and the questions are too hard. Number deux, drinking fountains. Every high school has drinking fountains. How many germs are on those? Number tres, vending machines. Either they work or they don't work. Typically the latter. And last but not least, number four, mechanical pencils. I mean, this isn't really associated with high school, but mechanical pencils are just irritating. Whether you're late for your 1 out of 4 classes or witness people fall on their asses. Whether you fail a test and then fail the rest. When you eat your food and have an angry mood. When your teachers rant and you feel like an ant. And when you have homework to do that you don't want to do. High school is not the place to be, trust me. Straight up, high school sucks. But it's also very incredible. It's a new turn in your life, a new experience. And even though I've been in it only 1 year, I can safely say that it's just a hit and a miss. There are things that are going to tick you off about it, but at the very end of the day, you worked hard and you tried your best. You made it through the day and enjoyed yourself. The clubs, the learning, the opportunity, there's so much to love. So instead of going to high school terrified and nervous, go into it with a sense of determination and understanding. You'll hate it the first day and you'll hate it the next. But keep working, because after all of this, after your entire high school career is finished, there's college. Oh jeez, I need to do my homework. So let's get started. No, I'm gonna do a little bit of it. So let's get started. No. Now, not all schools have uniform. I know for sure all schools have uniforms. Wait, what? Now, your locker is the very first thing you get when you go into How can I be that stupid? It's not elementary school. It's high school. I am not doing a rant on elementary school. Wow. That's a mistake that even a 2-year-old wouldn't have made. I can't find my place in the script. In high school? What was that? High school? High school. You have to hand in every assignment on time. And not only that, but then you have to deal with the worry of getting a bad mark while you wait for it to be marked. I said that line wrong. I botched the lineup. I botched the lineup. Ugh. That wasn't right. That wasn't good. No. No, I gotta do it again. Ugh. No. No. What's like a really pouty face? Ow. Ow, I hurt my chin when I did that. Ah. Oh, I'm gonna break my jaw one day doing that. That's what it feels like when I chew a steak for a really long time. That was a fake laugh. What is a pouty face? What is a face that people do? Once lunch, I'm talking too fast, that's why. Once lunch is finished, and sometimes it seems surprisingly fast. That's what the line is. Number deux. I'm trying to say it in a different language every time, just as a joke, but you know what? You know, I'm gonna say deux. 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 I like the way French people talk. That is actually like the most cool sound ever. Numéro deux. Love it. Love it. They're just irritating. This poor thing. Oh, this is actually a nice pencil. I don't really want to throw it, but you're annoying. You're irritating. Mechanical pencil. I see you. There are things that are going to tick you off about it, but at the end of... I was about to say a swear word there, and I shouldn't have said it, but it was about to pop out of my mouth. So instead of going to high school terrified and nervous, go into it with a sense of determination and understanding. That was... no. So instead of going to a high school... oh no. So instead of going to a So instead of going into high school... So instead of going into high school... I emphasized every single word. So instead of going into high school with a sense of... what's a sense of? It's a sense of not remembering your lines. That's what the sense is. So instead of going to high school with a sense of... no, there's no sense of... So instead of... finished. We were all finished. Thank you for watching.